Standard business advice says that the fastest way to succeed is to model somebody else's success, to follow in somebody else's footsteps. But I believe that the only path to a truly successful and fulfilling business, a sustainable business that's profitable year after year, is to build a business that fully aligns with you. Now, that's a business that aligns with 5 very specific things: your goals and aspirations, your strengths and your challenges, your unique pace, your unique starting point, and your unique business blueprint. And if you don't have a business that aligns in all 5 of these areas, you may have short-term success, but it's going to be hard to have that business that's profitable year after year. While it is true that success leaves clues, and you do want to follow proven strategies, you can't put those strategies ahead of yourself. You can have the best business model in the world, the best strategies, the best tactics, but if you're not in alignment with that model, those strategies and tactics, you're not going to get up every single day and do what needs to be done to make that business a success. So my name is Marisa Murgatroyd, and I turn everyday entrepreneurs like you into online superheroes so you can change the world from your living room. And one of the best ways to step into that superhero version of you is to really understand your superpower, your strengths, and also your kryptonite. And so many people are trying to build a business based on other people's superpowers. And I always say people have superpower envy. You got to own your gifts and own your superpowers. And while you can respect and admire and maybe even be a little bit jealous of somebody else's, it's about owning yours even if you think they're quote unquote boring. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to fully embrace who you are and build a business that aligns with you in all 5 of these areas so you can actually get what you want from your business. Because there are as many ways to build a successful business as there are entrepreneurs trying to build a business. So John F. Kennedy, on his very first day in office, stood on the steps of the White House and he famously said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." Now, most entrepreneurs are following in his footsteps, putting their business before themselves and kind of burning out or spiraling out. So today, the question I want to ask is not what can you do for your business, but what can your business do for you? Why are you building this business in the first place? And what's it going to give you in your life that makes entrepreneurship worthwhile? Because I wouldn't be anything other than an entrepreneur, but I know what my business gives me. I know why at the end of the day, it's worth some of the long, hard hours, some of the struggle, some of the angst and the frustrations that come about when you're putting yourself out into the world. And honestly, it took me a long time to learn the lesson of building my business in alignment with who I am. I think I had to hit my 40s and have my body start to slow down and realize that I don't want to work as hard as I've been working up until now. I want to enjoy my life and I want to enjoy my success. I want to have a thriving business and I want to have deep fulfillment too. And I've gotten to the point where I've become uncompromising in my vision for my life as I am in my vision for my business. I have got my to-do list, but I've also got my to-be list. And when you can bring that to-do list and that to-be list together in your business, it's game on fire. And you get to be revved up every single day by what you do. Now, Sigmund Freud said that love and work are the keys to happiness. And when you can find that happiness and fulfillment and deep alignment in your work, and you get to work in alignment with who you are, because a lot of people spend many of their waking hours working, building a business, whatever it happens to be, then you get to be a happy, fulfilled person. So like I said, I hit my 40s, my body started to slow down. I had moments of burnout, of burning the candle at both ends, building a business because I felt like I should. And I felt like I had to do it in particular ways versus truly owning who I am as a human being and willing to build a business aligned with that in a way that was uncompromising. And one of my friends, Michelle Falzone, who has an incredible content marketing podcast, and you'll see the links below for her podcast, led me through an exercise called the Land of Plenty. And it's where I started to imagine what my land of plenty looked like when I'm in the flow, when I'm in a state of abundance, when I'm feeling great about things. And I pictured myself up on this mountain ridge by where I live, and I hike on this mountain ridge every single day. And from this ridge, I could see down into the valleys all around. But on top of that ridge, I could see this kind of energy, which is the energy of me creating, this kind of channeling energy of all the things that I was receiving and all the things that I was doing every single day. And in order to have this energy and to be in my creative flow, the rest of the world had to be down in the valley, and I had to be up on that ridge all alone. But when I was ready, when I'd spent enough time in my creative zone, it's like one of those wizards with the staff, and they hit the staff on the ground and it goes, and it's like the green and the flowers spread out in all directions. So when I'm ready, I can hit the staff and send my creations out into the world. And that's when I interact. So we talked about this energy being the vertical energy of creation and the horizontal energy of sharing and marketing and engaging with the community. And I need to spend 80% of my time in this energy of creation. And I can only spend 20% of my time in these more horizontal things, which is managing my team, being on Facebook and engaging in the Facebook groups that I run. And it's one of the reasons why I like this long-form content better. I like blogging, I like recording these videos, I like doing webinars and master classes and teaching and training, because I get to go into this depth, this creative depth. And a lot of times the more social media channels like Instagram and TikTok and sometimes Facebook and Twitter, it feels like it's this horizontal energy of needing to be in this constant flow with the world. And it's just not the way that I'm designed. So there are certain ways that even I, being a marketing expert, thrive when I'm marketing and building my business, and other ways where I feel drained at the end of every day. So I've learned, you know what? Well, maybe I'm not going to be the biggest person in the world on Instagram. Maybe I don't ever want to do anything on Twitter whatsoever. But if I can kind of go in and create and then speak and share when I'm ready to speak and share, and I feel like I got something I really have to say that's meaningful, that's got some depth to it, then I'm a happy camper, and I can do that all day long and sustain that day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. So when you start to do this inquiry and you realize that you are designed exactly right, you are designed to be you and nobody else. So you want to follow the proven pathways, but do it in a way that aligns with you. Because when you follow your flow and your genius, it's like you're riding the best wave of your life. And business is like surfing. And that's an amazing place to be at. So let's really look at these 5 different areas that you want to align with, which is that business that aligns with your goals and aspirations, your strengths and your challenges, your unique pace, your individual starting point, and your unique business blueprint. And this is the way that we actually structure our year-long momentum program for entrepreneurs, because we want to make sure that we give our students customized advice for them to build their business, not for everyone to build a cookie-cutter business. Because the truth be told, you can't be successful on today's internet with a cookie-cutter business. You've got to be deeply aligned with who you are and express all of who you are. I like to say, turn up the dial on your unique expression so you can be heard through the noise of a billion websites, way more than a billion websites, right? So you want to have that deep level of alignment. And you want to get the support that allows you to go into greater alignment and get what you want from your business, because otherwise, business isn't worth doing. So the first thing that you want to align with is your goals and your aspirations for building a business. I oftentimes help people tune into what I call their 3 big whys: their selfish why, their altruistic why, and their intrinsic why. So your selfish why is what you get from your business specifically. Your altruistic why is what you give through your business, the change you contribute to in other people's lives and in the world. And the intrinsic why is how you get to feel every single day as you do your work. And a lot of times, really aligning with those 3 whys as you do your work, it's something you can maintain and aspire to on top of the big business goals like revenue and number of customers and growth and the millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever it is that you want to make. And Harvard University ran a study by this guy, Noam Wasserman, And there's 13 different motivations that allow an entrepreneur to really thrive. And different entrepreneurs have different motivations. So when you understand your top 3 motivations, you can build a business that gives you those motivations. So those motivations are affiliation, which is who you get to work with on a daily basis, and that sense of belonging through your business. There's that altruism, which lines up with that big altruistic why, which is the satisfaction that comes from helping other people. Then there's autonomy, which is basically the freedom to do what you want to do with little to no supervision. You've got nobody telling you what to do. There's financial gain, which is what a lot of people associate with having a business, but to be honest, it's not even on my top 3. And for many entrepreneurs, it's not on their top 3 either. So you want to have those aligned goals. Then there's intellectual challenge, which is work that really pushes you to solve big problems and grow and master new skills. Then you've got your lifestyle, which is enjoying time and having the flexibility to enjoy your life. Some people love to manage people and really, derive satisfaction from growing and developing people. Some people are more the chess players and they like the positioning. They like to line up opportunities and look for their next move that's going to think long-term about how things unfold for them. And there's people who like power and influence. They want to be making important decisions that affect everything from policy to people. Then there's prestige, which is desiring recognition for the work that you do, but high recognition and high respect, a lot of times through your affiliation, through your relationships. And then there's more the opportunity to win just everyday recognition and praise. You want an environment where your work is appreciated and you get that appreciation on a daily basis. And, you feel just comfortable in your team and your culture. And then there are people who really want that security of knowing how much money you're going to be making each week or month and having that stability. And then there are the people who like variety, where you want each day or at least each week to look different. My second motivation is lifestyle. I love living in this house in the mountains where I get to wake up when I want, where I want, and do what I want with whom I want for however long I want. And that's actually my big selfish why. Wake up when I want, where I want, do what I want with whom I want for however long I want. And when I have that freedom to live the life I want and do work in the way that I want to, I'm a happy camper. But when I have to follow somebody else's schedule, that's no bueno. I start to get resentful and it's no longer worth it. And my third one is what I like to call impact. It's kind of a hybrid between altruism and power and influence, where I love to see the result of my creation. I like to see people changing and growing and thriving because of the way in which I supported them. So my big altruistic why is turning everyday entrepreneurs into online superheroes so you can change the world from your living room. And my intrinsic why, which is how I get to feel every day, that I'm lit up, on purpose, on fire, and in the flow, being creative every single day. When I got that, I am unstoppable. When I don't have that, I turn into a miserable bitch. Seriously. I get resentful, I get grumpy. I'm not the person you see on camera now. So it's very important to not just have goals for your business that are the financial goals, the traditional goals, the number of clients, but have the goals of the kind of life that you want to build through your business and what you want to get from your business. Then it's important to look at the second area, which is your strengths and your challenges. You want to really build a business that aligns with your strengths. I build a business that puts me into my genius zone, which is exploration and accuracy, really being able to explore and create on the spot. So I do that through building a lot of training programs and courses, coaching people, group coaching, building websites and brands, all of those things. But my challenge area is all the logistics, the organizing, the managing. So I hire a team who can do that stuff so I can be in my genius zone. Now, I know you may be at a point where you're just starting out and you don't have the luxury to hire a team yet, and I get that. And that's okay. One of my coaches once said, you've got to earn the right to Pride and Prejudice. So before you can have your business exactly the way that you want it, you got to do things that are out of your comfort zone. And still, I probably spend at least 20% of my day doing things that I don't love, so I can spend the other 80% doing the things that I love. And I'm okay with that compromise. Nothing in life is absolutely perfect. But if I get to be in my genius zone even 50% of the time, that is a good day. But I certainly don't build my business around my challenge areas, and my business model takes full advantage of my gifts of speaking and writing and creating, versus building a business that's just like, say, a passive income scalable asset where I'm not doing any of those active creation skills because I'd get bored of that. It would be all about the things that are not in my genius zone versus the things that are. And it's one of the reasons that for all of our year-long momentum students, we really work with them to take a Kolbe test, to take a wealth dynamics, to really take our, unique business blueprint assessment as well, and help them understand the strengths and the challenge areas. So you're not trying to build a business based on your challenges and your blind spot. You're leveraging your strengths and letting your strengths carry you forward. So you got to go in with your eyes wide open and develop this huge understanding of yourself and really do what we call the flow mapping. And the flow mapping is mapping what your unique flow zone looks like that's different from anybody else's. You're not trying to be in somebody else's flow or be anybody else other than yourself. And that does require that level of self-awareness, to be good at the things that you're good at, to let go of the things that you're not, to surrender to the things that you're never going to be able to change. So when you do that, everything becomes so much better. Now, just an FYI, before I go into the third thing that you want to get into alignment with, I wanted to say that if you're really looking to create that business that's an expression of who you are, I recorded a free masterclass that you should definitely check out. It's called Discover the Business You're Truly Meant to Build and How to Share It with the World. It's the 7 things that you gotta have in any business for it to be both profitable and fulfilling. And it goes way beyond what I'm talking about here and really looks like, how do you choose that business idea and that niche? And I've got a link for that masterclass below in the chat. Now, the next thing that you really want to align with, which is your unique pace. So you're going to build a business differently if you're in your 30s or if you're in your 80s. And I've got students in their 30s and I've got students in their 80s, and they're going to build a business at a different pace. You're also going to build a business differently if you're a quick start 1 on the Kolbe or if you're a quick start 9 like me. You might be the kind of person that slow and steady wins the race. Or maybe you spring into action and you make things happen really fast. Now, you just want to accept your pace and not try to pick up the pace or build your business at somebody else's pace, because that's going to be draining and ultimately burn you out. Now, you can be the kind of person that can work 80 hours a week or the kind of person that caps out at 20. Don't judge yourself for your pace. Embrace it fully, because that's how you get what you want from your business, and you get to be you as you build your business, and you're going to be so much happier that way than trying to follow anybody else's pathway. So really accept and embrace your unique pace. And when you take assessments like the Kolbe, it can give you a lot of clarity in terms of what your pace actually is. So you're not always looking over your shoulder, comparing yourself to that friend of yours who always seems to be getting so much done and is wildly productive. You find your level of productivity and your level of speed. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't times to hustle and times to go outside of your comfort zone and times to pick up the pace. But overall, you want to create something that's sustainable for you, where you get to work on your terms. You get to be profitable on your terms, because that's the business that you're going to want to nurture every single day. The business that you can come back to time and time again. Now, the next thing that you want to align with is your individual starting point, which is what resources do you have at your disposals and what liabilities do you have? I've had students who had things like chronic migraines, and they felt like they couldn't build a business because of this physical challenge that they had. And I think it's not about can or can't. It's about what business can you build when you embrace everything about where you're starting from, which could include liabilities or challenges or things that make it harder for you to build a business than it might for somebody else. Now, that doesn't mean you can't, because as Henry Ford famously said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Or as Yoda said, do or do not, there is no try. So when you say, well, I'm going to try to build a business despite my migraines, you're kind of in the like, I'm going to see what happens, versus, you know what? No matter what's going on, I'm going to build this business. I'm going to accept it. Sometimes I'm going to have to take days out, maybe a week out because of my migraines, but I'm going to do what I can when I can, because there's no perfect time to build a business, just like there's no perfect time to buy a house and no perfect time to have a baby. There is no easy button. You got what you got, and you got to accept what you have and move forward from that place of self-acceptance and self-understanding. Otherwise, you're always moving one step forward and two steps back. So you've got to embrace your individual starting point. Now, if you happen to have the deck stacked in your favor, maybe you got a trust fund, whatever it happens to be, a lot of high-profile relationships, don't be afraid to work all those things. Work what you got and understand what you don't got. And know that no matter who you are or where you're starting from, you've got the makings of success on your terms. You don't have the makings of success on somebody else's terms. You may not be able to follow every single other person's model, but when you really do this level of self-inquiry and self-understanding, then you can accept and embrace yourself fully and find your own flow, your own path. And that's the fastest way to build wealth and success, is by finding and following your own flow, your own how. A lot of people say, well, how do I build my business versus how can I build my business? And those are two different questions. There's not a one-size-fits-all way to build a successful business. It's how can I support you to build the business that you and only you are uniquely designed to build in the way that you can build it that's sustainable for you, that's doable for you, that's fulfilling for you. And that brings us to your unique business blueprint, which is the specific business model and set of marketing and sales strategies, product strategies that are uniquely designed for your strengths and your weaknesses, for your unique pace, for your goals and your aspirations and your individual starting point. To really figure out what's your path for building a business. What are the strategies that are going to work for you? I can't tell you how many business opportunities there are across the web, and it's hard to know what to believe. But it's less about what to believe than understanding what's going to work for you and finding your path and finding your flow, because that's where you're going to find the success. So even though you want to have mentors, you want to follow proven models, you want to find mentors and models that are flexible enough to work with you and to see you and to help you, challenge and grow, yes, and stretch yourself and kind of go beyond any limitations or prefixed ideas that you have, but also work within who it is that you are so you stay aligned with yourself. In that business that you're building, it ultimately gives you what you want. Because why else would you spend the amount of time and the amount of effort in order to build it? They say that an entrepreneur is someone who's willing to work 80 hours for themselves so they can avoid working 40 hours for someone else. Now, I am not at all saying you should work 80 hours a week in your business, though there have been weeks where I have worked 80 hours, but certainly not sustainably or consistently. There are times to turn on the hustle and times to turn on the flow. And these days, I'm looking more at flow and a lot less at hustle. And I'd love to support you in finding your flow. So definitely subscribe to the channel, check out my masterclass, and tune into my other videos that you may like that are kind of similar to this one. I've got one video that you should definitely check out on why most people will remain average. So if you're thinking about this, you may want to watch that in case you've got a limited frame around what it is that you are thinking about doing, because I'd love to help you bust that frame wide open and see a bigger future for yourself, a bluer sky, a greener grass that truly is something that you can achieve. Now, the other video that you should check out is the $1 Million Morning Routine, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the choices you make every single day and how you choose to live each day and spend your time. That's going to make or break your success. And I actually share the exact success rituals that I used to build 3 successful companies without burning out and loving most of the journey. I can't say that I love every minute of it because it does get tough sometimes, but love most of it and ultimately love my life. You got this. Just go out there and make it happen.